Fergie's debut solo album, The Dutchess, is one of the most unhinged albums of the 2000s. While most of us know it for its hugely successful singles, there's a lot more to this album that makes it truly unique and exemplifies why Fergie is one of the most interesting artists of her time. Originally a part of the girl group Wild Orchid, Fergie exploded in mainstream popularity when she joined the Black Eyed Peas for their album Ella Funk in 2003. Her powerful voice and playfully bold personality made her an instantly recognizable figure and an essential part of the group. While they did have success before Fergie, her addition definitely helped in making their songs more accessible to mainstream audiences. The Peas would release another album called Monkey Business in 2005 to similar success. 4 singles were released during this era, including the controversial My Humps. Even though critical reception for the song was negative, it was still a huge hit, peaking at number 3 on the Hot 100 and selling millions of copies. More importantly, the song pushed Fergie's over-the-top and unserious personality to the forefront. Despite the ridiculous lyrics, she managed to play the song straight, with a wink and a nod to the audience. This acted as a good teaser for what she would end up doing in her solo career. Side note, but the song was originally written for the Pussycat Dolls, and I cannot emphasize enough how much I want to hear that version. Can you imagine Nicole belting out My Lovely Lady Lumps? In 2005, Fergie announced that she'd be releasing solo music. Having been in groups for her entire musical career, she had a lot to prove with her solo debut. Could she stand out on her own, or did she work better when she had other people to play off of? Well, she'd answered this with her debut solo single, London Bridge, and it was clear. Fergie didn't need anyone but herself to be successful. A dance and hip-hop track, London Bridge was an absolutely brilliant lead single, as it retained the over-the-top party girl personality Fergie had been known for, while also being a memorably strange and abrasive track. From the repeated oh snaps throughout the whole song, the blaring horns, and the admittedly confusing metaphor in the chorus, the song was undeniably unique and made a huge splash when it hit the radio, becoming a #1 hit. The song is still a 2000 staple, along with the next single from this album, Fergalicious. This song is similarly wild, with frenzied electronic hip-hop production and sassy lyrics. It's one of the most truly bizarre hit singles from this decade, as it's jam-packed with individual standout moments that make every minute of the song feel different from the last. The start and stop lyrics in the beginning of the second verse, the incorrect spelling of Tasty by will.i.am, the unforgettable rap verse. This song is a ride, and its weirdness has kept it popular to this day. Also, how come Bootylicious gets to be in the dictionary, but Fergalicious doesn't? The album itself dropped in September 2006 and was an instant smash, selling over 100,000 copies in its first week. Subsequent singles Glamorous and Big Girls Don't Cry would become #1 hits, marking the first time since Christina Aguilera's debut that a female artist would have 3 #1s from one record. The Dutchess had arrived. Kate Middleton who? Big Girls Don't Cry was especially massive. You could not listen to the radio in 2007 without hearing it at least once. It became our highest selling song to date, with well over 3 million copies sold. It's definitely the most traditional and least eccentric song on the album, but being normal on this track listing ironically makes it stand out even more. The song is a touching ballad about Fergie moving on from a relationship so she can work on herself. I must not be a big girl, because I have cried to this song on numerous occasions. It's a genuinely heartbreaking song, and her emotive performance sells it so well. I love how it's about recognizing you need to be good with yourself to be good in a relationship. That's not really a topic that was discussed a lot during this era of music, and it made Big Girls Don't Cry more special than your typical breakup song. Another ballad from the Dutchess, called Finally, was released as the 6th and fittingly final single in March 2008, a year and a half after the album's release. This thing was a juggernaut. Finally is another favorite song of mine. I actually love it just as much as Big Girls Don't Cry. Its simple piano and string production that builds into a majestic ending crescendo, mixed with Fergie's breathtaking vocals, make this her best and prettiest love song. It's a shame it didn't do as well as the other singles, because it's absolutely stunning, and I refuse to accept that the most a masterpiece like this got was a performance on Nickelodeon's Dance on Sunset. While the singles from this era were massive, The Dutchess is a consistently great album throughout. There is very little filler here, and even the more mid tracks are still great to listen to because of Fergie's presence. You could tell this album was a passion project, as it incorporates all the genres she grew up loving, such as dub, hip-hop, reggae, rock, and dance. Each song has its own identity, and Fergie wasn't afraid to get personal in its lyrical content either. For example, Voodoo Doll is a song about her former drug addiction. In it, she plays two roles. One is herself, and one is the metaphorical demon that's taken over her life and treats her body like a voodoo doll. It's a creative way to express the struggles of addiction without really saying it, while also giving the song a spooky and dreadful atmosphere. Another standout track is Mary Jane Shoes, which is exactly what you think it's about. It starts off as a pretty chill reggae song, but then near the end, out of nowhere, comes a 40-second, fast-paced rock breakdown, and once that ends, it goes back into a chill piano outro. It left me so confused when I first heard it. I felt like I'd just been the victim of a drive-by shooting. There's also a song called Pedestal, which is a takedown of tabloids and bloggers that Fergie was facing at the time. The hook sees her singing, "Your pedestal is falling down," in a creepy voice that sounds like one of those possessed little girls in a horror movie. But the weirdest part of this song to me has always been the fact that it interpolates the melody from London Bridge is Falling Down on the same album that has a song called London Bridge. Why was she so obsessed with this nursery rhyme? While I love all the tracks, my personal favorite song from the Dutchess is Here I Come, a hip-hop and soul song. Here I Come samples Smokey Robinson's iconic hit Get Ready to great effect. There's a grandness to the chorus that gives me old Hollywood vibes. It sounds like a song you'd step out of a limo and onto a red carpet to. The verses see Fergie listing all the ways she is that girl, and their confidence and self-assuredness make the song so much fun to sing along with when you want to feel like a bad bitch. Will I Am also has a great verse on it, although it does have some questionable lyrics. Bayou Long Island, but my name ain't Gilligan. If I get you tipsy, do you mind if I'm feeling them? It was a different time, y'all. It was a different time. The Dutchess also had a lot of bonus tracks, from the tropical island fantasy of Paradise, the heavy rock track Wake Up, and Barracuda, the song that inspired her to invent cartwheels on the Today Show. I aspire to have half the energy of this performance. My favorite bonus track has to be Labels Are Love, which was actually used in the Sex and the City movie. This is another hilariously ridiculous song, with all the extraness and personality you'd expect from a Fergie track about buying high-end fashion. I guess she's supercalifragisexy. Labels Are Love may not have been on the standard edition, but it exemplifies what makes this album so unique. The Dutchess is an utterly unhinged album, overflowing with all of Fergie's eccentricities. On paper, it looks like it wouldn't work at all. An eclectic collection of songs that goes from jazz, dance, hip-hop, reggae, and rock, performed by the woman who just 1 year ago was singing about her humps. In theory, it sounds like a disaster, but the album manages to be shockingly cohesive. While each song incorporates multiple genres, they're all unmistakably Fergie. No one else could sell this as well as she does, as it's her zany and outlandish performance that gives the Dutchess its very distinct personality. You could tell she truly cared about the music she was making, as every seemingly strange blend of genres sounds convincing thanks to her fierce commitment to each track. The Dutchess is one of those funny albums that sounds as of its time as much as it sounds like it belongs to no time. Listening to it feels like a blast from the past, as it was one of the biggest albums of the 2000s, but I truly believe Fergie would have made nearly the same album if it came out 10 years earlier, or if it came out today. It might have some dated moments, but it doesn't really sound like anything else from this time, due to its diverse mix of genres. In my opinion, it's this sonic variety and Fergie's totally out there performance that have made the Dutchess a classic. If you've never listened to the album in full, I highly recommend it. It's one of the most unconventional mainstream albums ever made, but that's exactly what makes it so memorable, so great, and so Fergalicious.